Hello, I have a microphone, and the reason I do is because I thought I would try and make the sound quality better on these videos. I'm not a YouTuber, but I am on YouTube because I want to try and communicate what I'm doing and where I see the research going and what I can communicate to you about what I'm learning as I go along on my journey. It's been over 6 years now managing this whatever it was, that nuisance that was in my head and the brain hemorrhage that happened as a consequence of that, which is kind of irritating to say the least. So yes, on Tuesday, I attended an APPG on brain tumours. I've attended a few of these over the years. An APPG is an all-party parliamentary group. So you have these discussions in Parliament about important topics, and I always go to these brain tumour ones when I can, when I'm invited. This one was on cannabinoids and drug delivery to the brain. With drug delivery, it was discussed. It was a discussion based on novel compounds to get into the brain through the blood-brain barrier. The other thing was a delivery system of drugs and virotherapy through a catheter into the brain. This is usually into the either one of the frontal lobes. I can't remember exactly why. I think it's just easier to deliver there, and there's less problems associated with it. I know someone who had the polio, an adapted version of the polio virus that was inserted via catheter. It's invasive, but also kind of non-invasive because it can be done in the same day. And must be a really odd sensation because it is entering the brain, but it's such a thin catheter. Does it just, yeah, it's obviously invasive because it gets into the brain, but to be able to just do it awake and like that, and just, it must be an odd sensation. So yeah, that was very successful actually, that poliovirus trial. And patients who did well did very well, and here many years later, patients who didn't do so well, sadly, are not here anymore.
Stephanie, she received the genetically modified poliovirus in May of 2012.
You've got to put a catheter into the brain to get it exactly where it needs to go. It's injected slowly into the tumor over 390 minutes. I can't imagine the courage, the guts it took for her to be willing to be first when there was no data in humans. It's mind-boggling courage.
And he said, in fact, what happens is when the immune system starts attacking the tumor gets really inflamed.
Her MRIs, after a while, began to improve.
When she came back, the MRI at 6 months, things were not as inflamed. And then after that, it just started going down and shrinking. And it slowly disappeared. We can see the nodule that was here, the nodule that we treated that had looked really inflamed in July of 2012, in fact, disappear. But not only that nodule disappeared, but also the hole, so that's the hole where my finger is right now, also contracted.
For us to see what we're seeing on a phase 1 trial is truly wonderful and a little bit awe-inspiring. The advent of the modified polio virus has proven to be the single most attractive and promising therapy the cancer field has seen.
If you look at me, you would have never thought that I had stage 4 brain cancer. They saved my life. I love that people look at me like I'm a walking miracle, but to me, I'm just another girl walking the street spreading the news that there is hope at Duke. I am a 5-year cancer survivor.
So yeah, this APPG focused on cannabinoids and drug delivery to the brain. In terms of the cannabinoid discussion, Dr. Wei Lu was there presenting. I interviewed him a while ago. I have a video on that somewhere on my channel. He was just saying, outlaying the evidence for the group to hear, and medicinal cannabis has really the interest is really soaring, and pharmaceutical companies are jumping to get on board with this, and GW Pharmaceuticals are very excited about their medicinal cannabinoid products. Their major ones are Sativex and Epidiolex. Is that right? Yeah, I think that's right. If I'm wrong, I won't edit this. But if I'm wrong, I'll be annoyed. Anyway, yeah, some cancer patients with some oncologists can get Sativex, which is a 1-to-1 ratio of THC and CBD, if they have chemotherapy, and if it's a recurrent glioblastoma, which is such a strict range of criteria that it's just crazy. And anyway, enough about that. Also, Sativex can cause these mouth ulcers as a side effect because of the other stuff that's in them. It's a spray that you spray in your mouth. But yeah, just cannabinoids. It's always been an interest of mine. I think there are well over 100 cannabinoids. Some that we probably don't even know about yet. But the most studied are THC and CBD. CBD is said to be the anti-migratory compound, at least for brain tumors. I submitted a research proposal on cannabidiol and glioblastoma to look at extracellular vesicle release and microRNAs to see how it affects just migration of these tumor cells. To follow on from this, I'm going to a major international conference on cannabinoids, which is called Cannabis Europa. There will actually be a couple of MPs present there. These MPs are in no way representative of the government's hardline stance on cannabis in terms of its legality. These two MPs are kind of, I wouldn't say mavericks, but they definitely go against the majority in Parliament, I would say. So these individuals are Crispin Blunt and Norman Lamb. They've been quite vocal about their support for medicinal cannabis being more, for patients to actually have access to it. which they don't currently do. And even the ones that do have to jump through hoops and pay a lot of money to have these medicines privately, under private prescription. Can be over £1,000 in some cases, which is obviously not affordable for the vast majority of people. So I'll be attending this conference, Cannabis Europa, which will actually be on the South Bank. It's a major conference. There'll be speakers from all over the world talking about medicinal cannabis and what they have found. And the cool thing is it's not just researchers, but also people who want to influence policy and access to these drugs and get involved with the conversation. The conversation here is the most important thing. We need to be having these discussions. That's why I was pleased to be part of the APPG on cannabinoids. And the next one I'm going to be part of will be on actual ketogenic diets. The APPG on ketogenic diets. And I've invited a few other people to attend with me, so they just need to get in touch with Brain Tumor Research and see when it is and what's happening. And like I said, I'm not a YouTuber. Well, not in the modern sense. I guess I'm an old school YouTuber in that I don't want to profit off of this, and I'm not doing this for any kind of personal gain. I'm doing it because I want to share my story, and I want to speak. I want people to know about these things. And I preferred YouTube the old way, without the adverts and just hearing about people. It's about people. It's not about people promoting products or having themselves as brands. I'm not a brand. I'm just me. I'm not special. Everyone watching this is unique in their own way. I don't mean that in any kind of patronizing way. It's what I genuinely believe. Everyone has something they can give to the world, and this is what I'm trying to give. I'm trying to have some influence that can help others to help themselves. And I guess that's all I have to say for now. My future's looking good. I'm doing really well. But I have a lot more to do. And that's why I'm keen to get more involved in this research and to publish my own work. And we'll see how that goes. I'll share what I learn at this conference, Cannabis Europa, taking place in London, which is convenient for me. I'm not in London, I'm in Ascot, but I'm in London when I can be because that's the place to be. So I will update you on that. Have a good day.